All right. Welcome back, everyone, to A Programmer Plays Somber Echoes. In our previous episode, we made it to what I believe is the final boss, and we even got prompted with what I think is a good bad ending choice. We started to do it, and then I essentially backed out. I was like, I want to get some of these upgrades before we do. And we spent like half the episode sort of bumming around looking for upgrades and not having much luck. Now, I did get some nudges about that, so we're gonna test them out. So first things first, we'll go back to where we were last time, which will be, just a quick and easy run. No, fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Yeah, just right over here. It's a little surprising to me that this spot, there's not a more convenient bench over this way. Like, I guess I'm just spoiled by the benches that we've got. That there's no, like, easier fast travel to this one particular spot. So do that to start. Okay, I don't know why I struggled with that so much. Alright, so the hint that I got, the nudge was look around this spot more. Oh boy. Alright, so gosh, that was and I'm sure that little spot is why that little, the one right here, this little notch is there in order to encourage players to mess around with it. That was interesting. Okay, not what I wanted. Having a little bit of trouble making this cooperate in here. There we go, finally. So, now that this is done, should be able what we're gonna need to do is get to there, so about from here. That is going to be pretty tight. So from here down. That's too high, I think. Alright. Now, there. 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 We did it. Hell yeah. What is this? Brilliant shard. Blinding shard of aether used for upgrading the aether lantern. Alright. Cool. So that's this little section done. I'm going to run back the way that we just came from. Actually, no, I'm not. going to go down. Cause gosh, I'm so dumb sometimes. There's this spot just a little bit south of this that's a little more convenient. That's not what I meant to do. My brain just turned off for a second. Don't worry about it. Happens to everybody. Alright, the other nudge that I got was that I should take a look at the Circe chambers. So let's go here. Is the Circe chamber in here? Oh, it's literally the default one that it's on. Ah. I didn't notice this last episode. Apparently, yeah, okay, cool. Apparently this is actually perfect. I love this. This is great. This is exactly what I wanted. I just wish that I'd noticed it. A way for me to spend some resources to get some stuff. And this does actually illustrate. Oh, it's right here, isn't it? This little bit right there. I probably even like looked at that on the mini map the first go around and was like, oh, I'll have to come back for that. Gosh, we could have gotten that forever ago. So yeah, not a breakable wall, just a thing. Cool. Nocturne used for upgrading the Nyx shield. Hell yeah. I think that suggests that this is like it for this area. Let's travel back to the Circe and just double check item locator. Yeah, 0. Cool. So that does actually tell us that we're done with this region. Perfect. Love it. Haste. Briefly increase attack speed by zapping out of lanterns. Sure. Cool. And Empiric Riposte. Perform a perfect parry and follow it up with a sword strike in order to heal your armor. Cool. And oh, we just got the achievement for fully enhancing the lanterns. That's funny. Perfectionist. Every parry will count as a perfect parry no matter the timing. That's great. So that means that's probably going to help actually a lot on the final boss fight, because there is that bit fairly early on in the fight where she's like diving down at you and I'm trying to like shield against it. We'll be getting some heals on that. Perfect. All right. So with that done, yes. Hello, cat. Let's check the grove. We'll just go down the list. Item locator. There's a survivor here. Damn, that's not even far. Alright, we are a little bit stuck on him right there, but that's okay. I don't think we've actually been back in this room since we first came to this area, which is probably not a great sign.
In lifted spirits, he looked up. His gratitude he extended to the rescue capsules he would rush as soon as it was safe.
Alright, 22. Have some cash. How are we doing on cash? Because the fact that the locator costs some is potentially going to put us in a tight spot. Like, it is fine. I am happy to pay that price. It just means that my assumption before about, oh, we'll easily afford everything might not actually be true. So, to the Circe, item locator, Nyx fragment. Really? Could have sworn I looked over that spot pretty closely. Clearly did not. Alright, there we go. Good stuff. Alright, I think we can count this region as done. Do we have a Circe in here? Doesn't look like we do. This is a Circe, isn't it? Yeah. Oh boy. Just right there. I bet I can even guess. I'm betting that right here is how we get into that. And then... Wow, all the way up there. Okay, fair enough. Taking some hits. We'll do a quick little rest. Actually, I'm a little torn, because a part of me appreciates that it doesn't automatically rest. But another part of me is like, it probably should. Oh no, it's actually right here. No, that's where I said.
His gaze was darting from side to side. His gratitude he extended. Horrible spider-like creatures he described that crept in through the vents.
All right. One last one. Go to this one, and, you know, right. Not from this side, but from the other side, it looks like. Yep. Alright, and that's gonna be the sword upgrade that we've been looking for. We've lacked. Excellent. I enjoy this. I enjoy this a lot, actually. I know that some people, it can kind of feel like busy work doing this, but not for me. I think it's enjoyable. Alright, chemical storage. That's the Circe one. Alright, item locator. There is a survivor here. Not quite where I expected it to be.
In
The thing
lifted
about these,
spirits, he looked up. His gratitude he extended to the rescue capsules he would rush as soon as it was safe.
the thing about these is that they do make you feel mighty unobservant. Like you get in and you're like, oh, well, it's just right there. What are we looking at? 98. Ooh, so we can't afford whatever the next one is. We're awful close. So, heavy, we're good. High residence. Item locator. There's a couple here. That's oof. That's slightly unfortunate because I'm not even sure what would be the best way to even farm for that. So, if I was a survivor, where would I be? Or a thing. Maybe here. Alright, we know that this is one of them. Let's think. Is it? Yeah, this counts as part of the higher residence. No. Counts as part of Vertex Ascension, which I guess would be part of the higher residence. I mean, this looks awful suspicious to me, so I'm a little tempted to go back to that. This also looks suspicious to me, so let's just do this the old-fashioned way. We'll look at these again, just by eye. And I guess we could be, like, literally listening out for them. I think we've observed that we can hear them sometimes. Can I step into here without... Nope. Sure can't. That's funny. Alright. Pop out, pop back in. 97%. That's what that said. Alright. Fast travel. Let's actually, hold on. Double check. Lower residence, item locator, all good. Grove. There's a item locator, all good. Science department, Circe. Item locator, not all good. There's a Nyx fragment here. I mean, it's pretty much got to be here, right? I just don't understand how this one works. Double checking that it's not. I feel reasonably confident that it's not like a second doorway into this room. And I saw above this a tube. So hold on, let's retry. The tube up there suggests to me that maybe we come from all the way across. Looking to see, like, are there any tubes that I've somehow overlooked on the bottom of any of these? Not that I'm seeing. No. It's a crinkled wall, but that's not like broken, permeable. That's possible. I'll try. I'll try. Oh, oh, did a bad job. See, these are... If there was gonna be a point, it would be right there. I think I'm just gonna look it up. We've spent enough time fighting this one. Alright, well, I tried to look it up, and the answers I got were pretty vague. Saying that it's accessed from another area. And I'm not totally sure that those answers were even, like, correct. Because I tried to look it up in another way, and was not finding results. So... running theory. Maybe we actually need to access it from the right. I really don't think so. I'm gonna check, and if we don't see something here pretty much immediately, we're gonna... Yeah, I'm not seeing anything here. We're gonna check and see, maybe can we drop down? That also feels unlikely, but... There's also the one here that we need to get, so... Alright, so... I feel like I'm missing something with the boots here. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. There must be some, like, the way that I'm hitting the boots is bad and wrong. Alright, so if I was dropping down to this area, I would do it from over here. Which does just reset me, which tracks because we can see that I've dropped down like that. Yeah, that's not working. Shit. Well, we can at least look and see. Gosh, we need so much money for this. I might have to do some off-camera grinding to get the cash. I think that's our last upgrade. It's kind of funny. Hop in here again. So, item locator. So there's a Nyx fragment and a survivor here. Let's see if we can get over to this spot. Just a quick little run over. Okay. Sarcophagus. Yeah, and then we'll just boop, boop, boop. Oh yeah, this is just literally just sitting here. Plain as day. Well, that's good. I'm glad that I didn't spend the money on that then. We'll just go ahead and drop. Maybe we won't just go ahead and drop. It might be a little bit of a trap. There we go. I feel like if there was gonna be a survivor or something in this room, they would be marked. Makes me think that's more likely as a spot that something is at. It doesn't feel super likely to me, but you know, more likely. Alright, well that cleared up and did not really feel like it had anything new for us. Yep. That's that spot. I could see there being something over here. Actually, I think this was a survivor already. Bank. Gosh, am I gonna have to go back to the... It's feeling increasingly likely that we're gonna have to do a little off-camera grinding. For a survivor, and it's gonna be like, as soon as we see it, I'm gonna be like, gosh dang it, I should have known, you know? Right there actually looks fairly likely. Hold on. My worry here is that I'm gonna, you know, reveal do the grinding to have the money to reveal it, and then as soon as I've got the cash, it's gonna be like painfully self-evident. Of course, that's where they were, you know? Cats. This is already a hidden room that we went in there. Alright. I'm making the decision. I'm gonna do a little off-camera grinding. I don't actually know where the best place to do grinding would be. There's not really that many enemies in this game. I feel like the cesspit is the most reliable source of enemies, but like, do they drop the most money? That I don't know. So let's see. Hold on. Let's science this one. We're at 117. Where, I guess they went through the ceiling. Alright, so that was 2 enemies, and they gave us $4. Yeah. So $2 per one of those. And that thing dropped closer to 10, it looks like. But like, gosh, I don't want to sit here and like grind out enemies like that. Let's try somewhere else. We'll try the webbed tunnel. Are these even dropping cash? Oof, this is... like, it's not the worst, but like, this is not a fast rate of accumulation. Let's try instead. Didn't Heavy Industries have some pretty interesting enemies? We'll rest. We'll be smart. So we're at 145. Yeah, this guy. This guy is worth 9, which is a slightly weird number, but like that's way better. So, all right, I'm going to kill some of these dudes, and I'll see you guys in a little bit. All right, just one pass through that room actually got us to 207, so we're going to go ahead and pop back to higher residence, pop into here, purchase the survivor location. Which is apparently like painfully close to where we were before, but not where I looked. Oh, yep, and I see it hidden behind that plant. So we're currently at 7. So when we talk to this person,
glamour, all but gone. Her gratitude she extended. Harmonia was benevolent and kind, but headstrong and ambitious. She got the less fortunate on her side, and to Pythia she ascended.
alright, 25. So when we pick that up, alright, so that was actually 25 coins that she gave us. Things, whatever. Does that suggest there's another survivor here, which is a separate thing? Shit. I mean, this is not a large room. Like, it's about the size of our thing there. So, like, there's so many places where you could fit a room. I mean, hell, you could fit a room in here. Not that I think they did, but, like, just saying. Alright, I'm going to go back to that same farming place and just farm up some more. BRB. Alright, I have picked up the requisite cash to rescue this survivor. Yep. Yeah, this one's close enough. I deliberately didn't sit there and grind up the money for the upgrade yet. It's because I'm slightly hoping that getting all of the survivors will net me a cash reward. I don't really think it will. That would be great. Again, it's like obvious once you like see it.
Relieved he sighed. His gratitude he extended. Harmonia's words inspired and moved them all. She spoke of gods forgotten. She preached that the Thyr and Nyx were treacherous and false. Their downfall was at hand.
Alright. Inspire all survivors. And he gave us 25 exactly. So that makes me think that they've probably all been giving me 25, and I've just not been paying enough attention. Let's, I guess, head back actually to the shuttle. We'll see if there's anything going on in the shuttle bay with them. I don't think there will be, but we'll double check.
nervously gazed, forsaken.
Okay, so nothing new there, which is not a big surprise. We need like 700 and some dollars to get that last upgrade for ourselves. Come on, camera, up you go. Oh, was not expecting you. You didn't drop any money. How rude. How much do these guys drop? So we're at 50. $66, $74. So those guys. I mean, I'm always having to like couch my numbers here to see like, hey, is it possible that I dropped some? I missed some of the cash that the enemy deposits. Like, there's this little bit right there that's trying to get away from me. The spear is just so much more effective than basically anything else. It's wild. But yeah, not great money there. I'm at 112. It's gonna take me a hot minute to get to what I want to be at. So I will catch up with you guys soon for you, in a while for me. All right, we finally have enough money to unlock the enhanced spear. Number 4, impaled enemies take double damage from other weapons. Unfortunately, that doesn't really help me with my grinding. Oh, we got acquire all enhancements and fully enhance the spear. Because we do still need a little more money. We need 150 more favor in order to get that last part equipment. So I'm going to continue grinding. It's been a little while. I've been at this for longer than I'd like to admit. Getting good at this little loop, but just a few more runs and we'll have enough to be able to go get that last location and then be done. All right, here we are at last in the science department. If we go to the item locator, we have enough money to find out where this last Nyx fragment is. It's just right up there. Fuck me. You know what? This is probably the best and closest place we'll get to it, so sure. Definitely some irony in finding out where it is, finally having the money for that, killing enemies along the way, and it's like, well, now I don't need that money. There we go. Final one. All right. I think with that, we are now, acquire all fragments and cores and achieve 100% completion. So with that, we are now effectively maxed. The only things left to do are story stuff. So let's get ourselves up to Harmonia's chambers and make some choices. I'm excited. This episode ended up being longer, even with the hint about where the stuff was. It ended up being longer than I expected. But hey, that's Metroidvanias.
An ominous feel.
Alright, so we've seen that cutscene. We're gonna do bad ending first. Side note, and I don't think I mentioned this last time, but I really appreciate that the staircases are at an angle, not like straight onto the camera or parallel to the camera. Alright, so slash.
The blow hit to the goddess.
And
the
now
memory
bad
of
ending.
a fine.
I think. Okay. Shit. Oh. Okay, so she comes behind me. Noted. Okay, noted. Okay. I need to learn that she's gonna come behind me like that. Okay. Come on. Oh, come on. I think we got her.
Sadness and bitterness as she fell. Her gaze grew dim and distant. Her machinations, her ascension plan, with her were laid to rest. Huddled together, the survivors hoped in vain.
Sororicide is the achievement
Until
we
the
just got.
very last minute, that the escape capsules would activate and take them all to safety. A moment later, the ship was engulfed in an intensely bright flash. The hull was torn apart all over. Harmonia's body was wholly consumed by forces not of this world. Her memories, a carefully laid out plan, in but a moment unraveled. Adrestia's love had only the inevitable delayed by shattering the necklace. And she was likewise consumed by smoke, rubble, and flame. On the Atromitos, she also perished. Aether and Nyx, content and soothed, their universe had been spared. And at the center of it all, a bitter and vengeful creature. A lover scorned and thus betrayed, in turn deceived his kin. His wounds so grave he spared no thought to what he had agreed to. For millennia he reveled in the notion that only he remembered. He watched them wear their mortal skins like everlasting prisons, without the memory of who they were, nor any hope of salvation. But in some cruel play of the fates, after eons of reincarnations, he found himself aboard the ship with everything he hated. His heart's desire, his deceiving brother, and worst of all, the fruit of their infidelity. His own betrayal salting his wounds, because only he remembered.
Well, uh, the game crashed, so that's fun. Gosh, what an unfortunate way to end the game for it to crash like that. Let's see. Did that save anything for me? I think it did. I mean, we got the achievements. We'll try the necklace way and see what that does. Gosh, that's so upsetting that it crashed. I think it crashed right as it was about to start playing credits, which feels like I feel disrespectful to have skipped the credits, even if
as the
it's unintentional.
Clasps shut, a horrid revelation. This was not meant to help Harmonia ascend. It was a potent prison. Atromitos was for a moment freed as Nocturne converged into the necklace. The opposite was true for Adrestia, who now could clearly see the dark, forgotten, and memoryless place that wheeled her back within it. Atromitos returned to its native realm. A moment was all that was needed. The few survivors of the monumental tragedy were safe and sound at last. A moment later, the ship was engulfed in an intensely bright flash. The hull was torn apart all over. Harmonia's body was wholly consumed by forces not of this world. Her memories, a carefully laid out plan, in but a moment unraveled. Adrestia's love had only the inevitable delayed by shattering the necklace. And she was likewise consumed by smoke, rubble, and flame. On the Atromitos, she also perished. Aether and Nyx, content and soothed, their universe had been spared. And at the center of it all, a bitter and vengeful creature. A lover scorned and thus betrayed.
This is a slightly unfortunate thing about having multiple endings that are easy to jump between, is that we have this situation where I just saw the shared elements of this.
That only he remembered. He watched them wear their mortal skins like everlasting prisons, without the memory of who they were, nor any hope of salvation. But in some cruel play of the fates, after eons of reincarnations, he found himself aboard the ship with everything he hated. His heart's desire, his deceiving brother, and worst of all, the fruit of their infidelity. His own betrayal salting his wounds, because only he remembered.
Having Hephaestus be the villain is a very interesting take.
Was 20 years ago. The Atromitos, almost forgotten. From the protagonists of this here tale, not even a whisper. But who am I, you ask? The question fair, deserving of an answer. I am the child, brought to this world to complete an ascension ritual. My blood was destined to be spilled, Harmonia's plan to bring to fruition. But here I stand, Harmonia's clone, and all her memories of deities of old, I, to this day, still carry.
All right. There we go. Somber Echoes. My impression of this game is that it's a good game. I like this game. I like the art. I like the story pretty well. I don't love the story, but I like it pretty well. I like the sci-fi mythology combo. I've written plenty of game design docs myself that do the same thing. I've made some games that are mythologically based. Fertile material. For the most part, like, exploring felt good. The platforming felt good. Combat was maybe a weak point for the game, I feel like. There's not that many different enemies, and you definitely find like strategies that work better for you. I don't know that it's universal. Like, I don't think that the spear is the answer to combat, but for me, it felt like the answer to combat. Since so many enemies, you put one spear through them and then they're done. Certainly that lengthy bit of grinding that I did there off camera at the end of this episode, it was just me throwing the spear constantly. I wasn't using my sword at all, which is kind of funny. That, like, I'm over here doing all this like effort to 100% the game, get all the upgrades and everything, and yeah, I didn't even take advantage of it once I had it. Right, so this is how we see the challenges. And there are some that are locked. I'm assuming... Interesting. What am I looking at here? I'm genuinely confused about what I'm looking at. So I assume that this is like DLC, like you can pop in and do essentially like a boss run here, it seems like. Okay, yeah, so what the Mortal was basically like full upgrades, or pretty full upgrades. Demigod is very limited health upgrades. And then Titan is very limited health upgrades and also no bow, which is interesting. And then similarly over here, interesting. So effectively, like Harmonia here, you get the most stuff, but because that's what the fight's designed for. It's designed for someone to be playing it who's done a lot of the game. Whereas the Phoenix, it's early game stuff, so you start it with very limited things. Cool. And then Labyrinths. Oh, cool. They're supernova puzzles. Interesting. That's fun. Maybe worth a bonus episode, maybe not. Let me know in the comments if you guys would want to see like a bonus episode about that. And then Colossi, I have no idea. Again, maybe time trials. Is this like a speedrunning thing? Maybe. I don't know. But yeah. So if I was working on this game, if I was making like an expansion, a DLC, a 1-year thing, what would I change? I mean, it's easy to say, oh, there should be more kinds of enemies. That's a lot of work. It's difficult to have a lot of enemies and, you know, big variety. Especially in this particular art style where they are 3D, so you'd have to, you know, mesh them, bone them, animate, skin them, the whole thing. I do think it would help to have more enemies, but I acknowledge that that's an expensive answer. I think it would help the game to have more little, like, extra side rooms and take some of the things that were all sort of, like, mushed together into the Circe chambers and make them separate little things. Having the Circe chambers unlock the fast travel, reveal the map, and open the doors, like, that feels like a lot to be all happening at once. You could separate some of those things out into separate little rooms and have the Circe chamber just be like, go to this room to do that. And that would be fine. I do think the game also... This is really the Hollow Knight player in me talking. I feel like it needed more things that wanted money, but also more ways to get money. So a Coliseum section inside of the game would have been good as a source of cash, but also just being like, hey, you need to spend some favor in order to open this door, in order to secure this save point, stuff like that. That having money coming in and money going out is one of the ways that Hollow Knight really, like, keeps the player engaging with the environment. And in my case, I definitely, like, sort of, like, ran out of interest in engaging in the mid game with the enemies because I was overflowing with money. I didn't have the resources I needed in order to spend that money. And so that sort of disincentivized me. And then that punished me in the end. When I got to the end, was like, item locators, finally a money sink. Oh no, I actually do need money now. I've shot myself in the foot. So that's a slightly unfortunate, just like, emergent thing that I think having a few more inputs and outputs of the cash system would help. Yeah, overall, a good game. My impression is that the audience at large hasn't loved this game the way that I wish they did. Like the Steam reviews are not as positive as I would have expected, because I think it's pretty solid. But unfortunately, that does happen. Sometimes people sleep on a game, and it sucks, but it happens. So, if you've watched this whole playthrough, thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I will be back tomorrow with another game. I don't know what. I'll have to think overnight and decide. But yeah, hope you had a good time, and I'll see you later. Bye!